Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and Merry Christmas to you. Because it's the 25th, so no, it's Merry Christmas. So and definitely you have to watch other videos. So I'm not gonna say no and a Happy New Year. No, you're gonna get my Happy New Year when it's Happy New Year. So you must continue to watch. So this is the Velyka Novosilka sector, and we're going to do the battlefield analysis for this region here. The rest of the mapping, I haven't even put all the troops. There's just too much front lines. But we're just going to do the Velyka Novosilka, and of course, major developments have happened over the past 48 hours with the Russian forces capturing of Makarivka. So capturing Makarivka and this area of what is this called? Oh god, what is this? This Terezove. Yeah, so this is Terezove. Yeah, so and the Russian forces have basically captured all these things, and it's confirmed by Ukrainian mapping as well. Deep State US have confirmed this area, this region, and with the latest information suggesting that the Russians, confirmed to have captured the entirety, geolocation of Russian forces at the top, and the Russian forces also advance in the direction of Neskuchne from this sector here, based on the Ukrainian mapping. So the next move towards Neskuchne will be a bit more challenging because it is going to involve a little bit of open ground, a bit similar to the initial stage of Makarivka. Makarivka was like there's all these open grounds around here, particularly in this sector. So it's going to be a bit similar at Neskuchne. So there is a few places where the Ukrainians could hold defense. So this is Terezove, by the way. So Russian forces probably have forces along this area, and they probably have already taken this entire tree line, and they probably is around here. Ukrainian forces unlikely to be so close. There's no high chance that the Russians will be here. Ukrainians are going to hold defense along this forest, along this entrenchment, definitely in the town itself. And they probably have some positions in this forest guarding this area here from the attack from Blahodatny. There's the Makriali River here. There's nothing here. There's just open ground. So the Ukrainian forces is going to be positions in all these different areas, and of course the tree line you probably can't see there. Then this tree line here is there's probably some sentries up front. Maybe it's the Russians also, it may not be the Ukrainians, and this is the current situation that we are looking at. And all these open grounds is going to be pretty challenging if the Ukrainians know that the Russians are going to come, which is we probably should know. Then even though all those motorcycle attacks, where the Russians are, have deployed pretty successfully against, long-term and fortifications where the troops are just, distracted and not attentive because, it's been a long war, and then the front line is pretty slow. Then all these motorcycle attacks are going to be successful, but not going to be in this case. Neskuchne is now the next front line. The Russians are pushing really hard, so we're going to probably see a mechanized attack. They could potentially go down the road, but of course this is suicide. They're going to get destroyed. Maybe I use another color. So if they're going to attack down this road, they're going to get destroyed very quickly. So it's unlikely they're going to do that. They probably would do a drive direct and land troops in these areas. So similarly here, the road is definitely a super dangerous place because it's that you definitely will cover a road when you're in defensive position. So another way is through the forest. Take all this heavy entrenchment. The Russians probably would can airstrike and fab it, and then they will be able to, from this region here, launch an attack directly into the northern part of Neskuchne. That could potentially be the other type of action that the Russians could do. So, but this also comes back to the point where the Ukrainians must be defending. Because if the Ukrainians do not defend, then of course the Russians will just do the easy way and just enter into Neskuchne from the south. So the Ukrainians have a lot of defensive position, but you can just imagine how complicated the defense, the arrangement of the management of the troops is. You have all these lines needed to be defended to prevent any breakthroughs. So, and then just imagine the resupply, the food, the supplying of food and ammunition. It's just going to be, and water. It's going to be challenging. Water probably not that bad because if there's ice, they can cook the water. But of course, cooking the water also is a problem because if you cook, there's heat signature. Then you are revealing your positions. Then you are attracting some kind of a drone strike. So it's just terrible, lifestyle, terrible life, being a trench or frontline, cannon fodder. That's what it is. So this is the situation at Neskuchne, which is the next major front line. There is also, a lot of actions, a lot of reports about fighting from Blahodane itself. This is this is Blahodane, and so as just now we have shown, the Russian forces is in these lines. So these are the Russian lines region. And then on the other side of Kryali River, I believe the Ukrainians have all these forests because this will provide fire control against the Russians that is in Bahodatne. So it's going to trap them in these regions here, which is probably what's happening, which is why the Russians are not exactly able to push out so easily. Ukrainians probably is going to have these various defensive positions as well, which is actually pretty good. There's a major road coming down from Velyka Novosilka. They can reinforce resupply pretty effectively. So Russian forces probably have all these various lines in this area here. So whether the Russians is going to push out is going to be difficult because even the Ukrainian troops in this area can provide fire control, and you can see how complicated it is. All these fire control, all these firing positions is going to trap any Russian troops from trying to go out. And if they go out, then they will have to do it in a blitz. They have to do it very quickly in a strong armored fist, and then they're going to have to bombard and supported by FPV drones, airstrikes. They have to storm out. But because the Ukrainians have all these lines along the river, they could continue to provide fire support. If the Russians decided to just continue to drive down the road, it's going to be not so easy. So taking of Neskuchne could be the vital for the Russians to actually break out from the Blahodane. If not, the Russians will have to go from the outside, which is further east. They have to go further east from this area here. They have to attack from this direction, but that would basically hit the Velyka Novosilka itself, and of course being near to the city means it's going to be much more have high resistance. So this entire area here is now a pretty stalemate-ish region. It's going to be pretty stalemate-ish because you just can't get out from this area here without hitting a heavy Ukrainian forces, which is in the southern part of the Velyka Novosilka city. So that is the current conundrum the Russians going to face at Blahodane. So yeah, I don't expect much from Blahodane for now until the Russian takes Neskuchne. And so Vremivka is definitely not endangered for now. This is Vremivka because of the defense lines in this region here. So any Russian advance into Vremivka, we're going to have a heads up because the Russians would have to conquer all these regions here before they can actually hit over to Vremivka. Velyka Novosilka itself, the situation is pretty much of a standoff. So Russian forces had this region, what is that called? Forgot, Novikoma. So Russian forces have Novikoma in this area here. They have all these lines. And let me move this icon there. Yeah, so, and the Russians are holding this part of this road. They have the entrenchment. They have some of this heavy entrenchment around here, the ribbon. They have this. These are all the Russian lines along the river and some of these areas here. So these are the Russian lines. And so the Ukrainians, the job at this moment is to keep Velyka Novosilka active for as long as possible. For the fall of Velyka Novosilka could have the similar effect of Voleda, where the entire region will just collapse and many hundreds of square kilometers is going to be lost to the Russians as a result of the fall of Velyka Novosilka. So so the Ukrainians are doing their best to defend. The major entrances, the major areas here, all the different entrances, the Ukrainians will be defending. They are defending within the city. Outside is, of course, is no man's land. So all these buildings, the Ukrainians are going to hold defense lines around here. maybe these 3 lines, they're going to have some troops. So draw a bit too close, maybe not so close. Ukrainians probably is not going to be that close. They're going to be like here. Yeah, they're going to defend on all these areas here. The Russians are a bit further away, and the Ukrainian forces can control the defense of the city just by having an all-round defense, covering all the major roads and major entrances. And it's going to be very difficult unless the Russians do heavy bombardments on one part and then break through, which is of course doable. The Russians have already done it many times. They have captured many big cities already. But tentatively, I think strategically, the Russians is not ready to do it. I think the Russians wants to be near to Velyka first. They want to have all these areas covered first to force a Ukrainian withdrawal. Then they probably will try to do something like this. There's a few major bridges around here. These are all the major important crossings along the different rivers. So these are the places where I think the Ukrainians really want to keep it up. Some of these bridges has been targeted by Russian airstrikes and missile strikes. It have been taken down. They probably have repaired it. So Ukrainian movement within the city is not as flexible because they have to go around the rivers. So like they have to cross the bridges. So it makes traveling not so direct. They have to go around a bit, but it's not a big problem as long as they have the front line defended. So don't expect too much from the Velyka Novosilka itself. The siege continues. There is no battle of Velyka Novosilka yet per se. The Russians do have this industrial area outside, which would provide a good forward operating position for the Russians to plan or do a major assault down this highway into Velyka Novosilka, which I believe that the Ukrainians will be prepared for. They have all these different buildings, and it's going to be all these very different firing points and ambush spots. So coming in is definitely someone have to die. So not so. It's not a computer game. People dies when they do an attack. So that's what it is. Further up north, in the Rozdane region, there is fighting continue to be reported in this area here. It's unknown where exactly the Russians are pushing. In terms of the situation around this area here, you can see the Ukrainians still have to put in a lot of troops to be defending all these various regions. Like, it is very complicated for defense. The Russians probably have some lines in this area like this. Yeah. So I think one of these weaker spot, maybe the Russians could potentially go down this river towards the Mokriali River, and then join up with the forces at Mokriali. Not Mokriali. Where's the place? Novikoma. So that could potentially, you probably can't see it. Oh my god. Let me. Oh no. My face covered. Wait. Let me adjust. Okay, let me remove my face. Where's my face? Yeah. So they can potentially go around to the north of Novikoma. This is probably where they want to go. And this is how the Russians could potentially move for now. Because pushing further up north is a bit pointless at this moment. Because if you look strategically, the main fight is still in this sector, in the Velyka Novosilka. Pushing up north towards Bahatia, not that meaningful as this moment. So it's just not that meaningful for now. So, and we look at the western part of Velyka Novosilka. In these regions here, of course, the two major towns in question is Rivnopil, which is over here, this Rivnopil, and the other one is over here. I forgot what is this called. Novosilka. So because I put these troops icons here, it covered the names, so it didn't appear. So this Novosilka. Actually, I should do this. No, then I would not. I do put this drawer. Yeah, there's this drawer here. I should put it up so that I know what guys you can see. So in this area here, the Russian forces basically just was reported to have taken this entire region between Rivnopil and Novosilka. So, but the lines here is really difficult, and I think the Ukrainian forces have built a pretty good defense line around here. So let's look at this a little bit. Let's look at which angle should I do? Maybe this angle. So we have Temberivka right here. So that's Rivnopil. Should I zoom out a bit? Yeah. Okay. So the Russians has basically go encircled, not encircled, but they basically have covered all the grounds in the south and the west of Novosilka. They have some of these early captures. They have control of Rivnopil, which is a major town in this sector. And there is fighting reported towards Novosilka already, which means that Russians may have already advanced a little bit up north, a little bit. Ukrainians have all these defense line, probably the entire road, not road, along tree line around there. And then they have the Novosilka itself, some of these areas here, these tree lines, yeah. And then Zelenopole is over here. So this supports, this town supports the operations in the defense around here. So it makes reinforcement and resupply easier. They are able to reinforce resupply in this sector. And then there is also, of course, all the other defense lines over on the west. And then there is support of Temberivka over that side. So the lines here is not that easy for the Russians. A lot of covering fire from all sides. If you zoom in, and the areas are also pretty big. So if you really want to look at tactical situation, you have to look at this scale. So do we have any? Can we drop in to see anything? Nothing. Yeah, this is okay. We have this area here. We can drop in and take a look of go in. So just to take a look at the environment. This is of course in spring. This person rode a bicycle here. Hopefully he's alive. But yeah, so this is the kind of landscape that we are looking at in this region. Of course, it's now covered in snow, so pretty open ground. Yeah, but pretty wide, a very, very huge expanse. You can see that that guy, the water body, the lake is pretty big, but yeah, so that's the the kind of a world that these soldiers are fighting in. So not much to really talk about. The Russians have been trying to push out from this area, has been failing or unable to do much in this sector. So I'm not going to expect too much from this area, but yeah, the main action is still pretty much going to be around Neskuchne. So the Ukrainian defense here, yeah, not as ideal. There's the other side on the west. But yeah, this is the current battlefield situation in this Velyka Novosilka sector. So anyway, hopefully this is helpful. And thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and yeah, Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys in the next update.